Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi wa kafa wa salatu wa salamu ala ibadihi alladhina istafa. This is Dr. Mufti Mohammad Omer Rafique. I'm representing TAIF, Digital Institute for Islamic Finance, and Mabrook as well here in this webinar. I welcome all the participants and all our esteemed guests, especially Mufti Khawaja Noor Hassan Saab as our guest speaker today in this webinar. And in this webinar, inshallah, this will be around 60 minutes webinar, and we will be focusing on some core issues related to the tokenization and the future trends that are coming insight towards Islamic finance. So before commencing the webinar and the topic that we have chosen for Mufti Saab to speak on, I would like to give a short introduction regarding TAIF. Taif is basically inspired by the altitude of Taif, the place, the mountain. And it is said that we are willing to take Islamic finance and the awareness and knowledge of Islamic finance to that much altitude. So basically, Taif is helping and serving Islamic finance since last 6 or 7 years. And as far as the Al Mabrook is concerned, what actually is happening in Mabrook and what Mabrook envisions about the future of Islamic finance is the decentralized Islamic finance, the Islamic finance which is then going to be in the hands of each and every Muslim, that he will be able to trade for the tokens representing the real assets, maybe these real assets, the real estate or any manufacturing concern or maybe some kind of services business that is going to be represented through tokens, and then these tokens can be traded through the platforms that is based on blockchain. So Mabrook has identified a problem that is available in the sphere of Islamic finance, especially in the western part, and it is alhamdulillah already registered in UAE and some other countries, and already working, have already started working on some real estate projects. And as far as the awareness is concerned, this is I think Al Mabrook's 12th or 13th webinar on different topics, and we have been trying our best to create the awareness and increase the knowledge among the stakeholders. The stakeholders in this case are the regulators, are the investors, are the customers, the general public, who is willing, alhamdulillah, to learn about this new feature of Islamic finance. And the evidence of this is, alhamdulillah, is the participants normally that participate in our webinar. It is till now, it's around 42. And the maximum number of participants that we have witnessed in some of our webinars is more than 150 and 200. So this is a short introduction about Taif and Al Mabrook, and alhamdulillah, both are collaborating for the future of Islamic finance. And this was all from my side. And one of the most important point that we are going to invite Mufti Khawaja Noor Hassan Saab, and we are really thankful for his precious time. Mufti Khawaja Saab has a diverse portfolio. Alhamdulillah, he is a graduate of law, and he is an advocate in High Court, as well as a resident Sharia board member at Habib Metro, Sirat Islamic Banking. And he is associated with AOFI as a senior researcher and working group member at Governance and Ethics Board. So working at an international level as well as on the local level in Pakistan. So he is a member of the many committees, a review of AOFI Sharia Standard Committee as well, and he has been teaching and training a lot of people. He is a faculty member at Jamia Yusufia Ben Nouria. He has been teaching at ICMA, at NIBAF, at IBA, and University, and several other places as well. So welcome, Mufti Saab, and I'm really thankful on behalf of Taif and Al Mabrook that you are here with us. And I would like you to take the charge on and present your speech, inshallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Taif Institute, Al Mabrook Institute, and Brother Mufti Omer Rafique Sahab for giving me a chance to share my views. And you have shared my brief introduction. So today we will be discussing about the ensure how we can ensure transparency Islamic financial transaction through blockchain, some legal and Sharia considerations. So I have the presentation are audible and visible to you people. I'm audible,
Yes,
audible.
yes. Your voice is audible, Alhamdulillah, and the presentation is visible, Alhamdulillah.
So first of all, a disclaimer because I'm engaged with different institutions. Rather, Mufti Umar has said. So this is just a disclaimer. We all are aware that the view, discussion, and opinion presented in this presentation are solely my personal views and should not be attributed to my employer, any authorities, or any other entity. I am not a technology expert, and my focus will be on the Sharia and legal experts of blockchain technology. Any technical information presented is for general information purposes only and should not be considered as an expert advice. We all are aware that nowadays we have different deliberation, different discussion, different opinion, different controversial opinion about the new technology, new digital words. And so this disclaimer is to include all of these things because as a mufti and a scholar, what we present is that which was presented to us, we give the opinion based upon the information provided. That's why in all our fatwa, in all our pronouncement, after the opinion, we said that Wallahu alamu bisawab, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the best and He is the alam and He is a superlative knowing person. So before going to our topic, legal and Sharia consideration, a very basic, a very layman definition for all of our understanding is that, and blockchain can be described and defined in different ways. Likewise, blockchain is a digital ledger that records transactions across a network of computers, ensuring transparency and security. In other words, we can say blockchain is a decentralized system that securely stores data and transaction, making tamper-proof and transparent. What is happening in nowadays transaction, in manual transaction, that there is centralized mechanism, there is hub mechanism available, and the person keeping and recording the entry, he is the sole owner of that ledger. However, in blockchain technology, this is a digital ledger and everyone will have the real-time access, real-time opinion, real-time option, real-time access to make the changes. So in other words, blockchain is like a digital bookkeeping system that multiple people can access and update, but nobody can alter or delete what's already been written. So everyone will have the access at the right time. If anyone will change, if anyone will alter, if anyone will delete something, everyone will access, everyone will know what is going on. Blockchain is a digitally distributed, decentralized public ledger that exists across a network. Mostly we see the definition of blockchain is the last one, that blockchain is a digitally distributed, decentralized. What is defined in the first definition, that blockchain is a digital ledger that record transaction across a network of computers. So it means everyone will have the transparency, everyone will have the access, everyone will be foreseeing what is going and what is happening. So it will be a tamper-proof and transparent mechanism through blockchain. Any system, any product, any segment which will use the blockchain technology will be having a decentralized public ledger which is accessible to each and everyone. Blockchain is a digitally distributed, decentralized public ledger that exists across a network. Core feature, decentralized ledger system. Again, this is the same what we have discussed in the last slide. No central authority. Anyone will not be having a central authority that he will make the change and anyone will not have the access. No, everyone will have the access of the digital ledger system. Immutable records. Data cannot be altered retroactively, that is with effect from a date in the past. We have seen there are different control available, 4i principle, 5i principle, and 6i principle. So in this ledger, everyone, no one can change the, no one can alter, no one can delete the data which is punched in the system. Real time transparency, everyone will see what is happening and what is going on. This is a pictorial picture in which we can see that a transaction is requested and everyone will be seeing what is happening in the system. You can see what the step 1, the step 2, and the step 3, and so on. So now how the blockchain will be using and will help and assist the Islamic banking and finance. As we have seen, the blockchain, the key feature and the benefits of the blockchain system will be that there will be transparency, there will be no central hub authority, single man show, there will be no single man show, and the same is required as per the Islamic banking and finance as well. The core principle of Islamic banking and finance is that Islamic finance is rooted in fairness and justice, ethical conduct as a paramount. Transparency is essential for Sharia compliance. It shows accountability. Everyone who is doing the transaction will be accountable for his or her acts. Traditional system face challenges in transparency. So if everyone will be having the system access, everyone will be watching what is going on, what is happening. So this is the core principle that everyone will be fair, everyone will be justice, everyone will go into a transaction with justice, and transparent transaction will happen. Why does transparency matter in Islamic finance? We all are aware the Islamic banking and finance, the key principle of Islamic banking and finance, that if we will act, if we will do any transaction with the other party, we should be transparent. We should not be having uncertainty, misrepresentation with the other party. So the key principle of blockchain, of the key principle of Islamic banking and finance using the blockchain will be again the same, that the other party should not have any gharar, the other party should not have uncertainty. And through this system, the if the everyone will have the access of the system, everyone will be watching the transaction, everyone will be watching how the transaction is in flow, where the transaction is right now. So there will be no gharar if the system will be utilized properly. Riba is the base of the Islamic banking and finance, and we are aware that if we will be using the blockchain technology, so it means that we will not be involving any loan transaction in which we will be having access on a loan-based transaction. We are aware that in Hadith Sharif, kullu qardin jarra manfaatan fahu riba. In any loan transaction, you will have a benefit that will be tantamount to riba, that will be tantamount to interest. So if the transaction will be executed through blockchain, we will be watching that either we will be having any benefit from a loan transaction, or either we'll be having a profit, we will be having a remuneration, we will be having a return on an asset based transaction. Then lack of transparency through blockchain. Again, this is a digital ledger. Everyone will be having the same access, so transparency will be available. So this is also the key principle Islamic banking finance, that in financial transaction can lead to dispute or non-compliance with Sharia principles. So if there will be a lack of transparency, there will be a tanazo between the party, there will be a dispute between the party. So if using the blockchain system, using the blockchain technology, the transaction will be transparent and no one can retroactively alter the details. Now, what we have seen in this digital era, that when we talk about the tokenization, when we talk about the digital banking, we talk about the fintech, we have observed that mostly these technologies are used for only deposit-based products. However, what we want to do is that these new technologies should be also be utilized for asset-based financing, not only for the deposit product, because the deposit product is very simple. We have very different system in our globally renowned companies. So what we have to do is that we must use all these application for the deposit side, as well as for the financing side, as well as for the asset side. We will share some pictures and we will share some case studies that how the blockchain system can be utilized for asset size, and what are the deficiencies, what may be deficiencies, and how the blockchain system can be beneficial for Islamic banking, finance, and asset-based transaction. Mainly, I have covered these issues and these concerns considering the Pakistan industry, because the Pakistan industry, there are different regulatory requirements, there are different Sharia requirements, which we have seen that they are not present in the global industry. In Pakistan, we have to have some document evidencing the transaction. So what I have done is that I have taken two short-term products which are used in Pakistan as a short-term product for 6 months or maximum 1 year, and two products as a long-term and mid-term product for we use the mode of ijara and dimension musharaka. In Pakistan, the central bank, the State Bank of Pakistan, has adopted the AOF standard, AOF Sharia standard as well. So The regulator, the State Bank of Pakistan, while adopting any AOF Sharia standard, also obtained the feedback of the industry. So while adopting and while implementing any AOF Sharia standard, the standard implemented after the feedback of the industry, and there are different additional requirements imposed by the central banks to execute the transaction in Sharia compliance manner or in transparency manner. More or less, but when we execute the transaction manually, there is a chance that the documentation and the evidences are tempered. The documentation and the evidences are made by the person. However, those are not the genuine, not the real evidences. What we have seen and what we observed. That's why different charities are also applied based upon these manual transaction, manual documentation. However, if we will adopt the blockchain technology with true spirit in all levels from end to end, if we will have the option that will be transparent and that will also safeguard the banks on their charity amounts. So in Pakistan, we have seen that there is a regulatory requirement as well that in Morabaha transaction or in Morabaha transaction, these both are the sale-based transaction, and what the funds you are given should be used for the specific assets. So if we will use the blockchain technology, we will be having the access to the customer, we will be engaged with the customer, we will be engaged with the supplier. So if the customer approach us for any commodity, any asset to purchase, if we will have the access along with all network, the customer, the bank, the customer and the suppliers. So it means we will be directly posting and we will directly crediting the accounts of the customer and accounts of the supplier rightly. So if we will using the blockchain and any technology which will be helping in these kinds of things, so it will be very transparent. So what I have written in the first point, proper utilization of funds, ensuring funds are used for intended purposes. So in some cases in Pakistan, what we do and what we see is that if the supplier, my customer supplier also have the account in the same bank, so we credit the amount in the customer's account. So, however, in majority of the cases, what we see is that the funds are provided by the customer. We clear the checks, we clear the pay order, we clear the payment instruments in favor of the customer, in favor of the supplier. But there are chances that the funds may not be properly utilized for the intended purpose, intended purchase. However, in case we will use the blockchain and these kinds of technologies, I think this will be very transparent. Again, while discussing in Pakistan, modeling of Pakistan payment modes, we, the Sharia board member, ensure that the payment is made for the intended purpose. What is called in Pakistan the direct mode of payment or indirect mode of payment. But if we will use the blockchain and likewise technologies, so I think we will be very crystal and transparent, and these transactions which I am discussing are domestic transaction within the country transaction. However, in case we are doing something like importing something from another country or we are exporting some goods to another country, these are very tracked transaction and the beneficiary is directly paid to the by the bank. However, when we are conducting and we are executing the local transaction, there are chances of misrepresentation by any customer. So if we will be using these technologies, I think this will be very helpful. Again, on the third point, evidence management. At all time, if any invoice is generated, that will be seen by the bank, by the customer and the supplier. So with these transparencies, everything will be very truly documented. In Pakistan, we have seen that as per the AOF Sharia standard, there is a requirement that the transaction, that the sale should be evidence, the purchase and sale should be evidence. So in Pakistan, while adopting these standards, the regulator has said that there should be three kinds of evidences. This is all because sometimes we doubt on the customer, sometimes we see that the customer do and act some fraudulent activity. So to cover all these things, the regulator, the central bank has imposed some restrictions that three type of evidences should be available in the Morabaha or Musawama transaction while we are doing the transaction in domestic ways. The payment evidence, the good receive evidence, the purchase evidence. So if we will execute the transaction through systematic way, in a systematic way, so all the transactions are very prudent, all the transactions are very clear at all levels. So I think while doing these transactions through system-based technologies, so much evidence is not may be required. Again, preventing fictitious transaction, eliminating no buyback and no fictitious transaction through blockchain immutable ledger. We all are aware that as per the AOP Sharia standard, in Morabaha and Musawama transaction, buyback is not allowed, buy-in is not allowed. And buyback and buy-in mean that the customer already have the goods, already have the commodity in his or her ownership, and the same goods are sold again and again. So initially we have discussed that through blockchain we should avoid the interest-based transaction as well. So while doing the manual transaction, we don't have the visibility. We only depend on the customer information that the goods are newly purchased. However, if we will act through the systems, we will be see that the supplier has as of to date this inventory, and after payment on based on behalf of the customer, we will be having the rightly timely delivery. So there will be no buyback transaction and the interest involvement will not occur in our transactions. Any question regarding, or we will take the questions afterwards? Okay, we will take the question afterward, not any question right now for this. So blockchain offers immutable, verifiable record that align with Islamic ethics. And as discussed, the above points are mainly considered as per the Pakistan structure requirement of stops and documentation. So these two transactions are only for as a sample, and these transactions are for the purchase side, for the local purchase side. But if we will talk about the sales side, the export side, or istisna transaction, or salam transaction, or shirkatul ek based transaction, in the same case, we will be having the transparency in those modes as well. Again, some long-term midterm transaction in Pakistan, we say 3 years or 5 year or beyond 3 years or 5 year transaction. So in some cases, if the customer wants the fund and does not want to purchase any long-term asset, any tangible assets, but as we don't have the visibility of the asset, we only opine based upon the information provided. So in cases in the use of blockchain technology, we will be having the visibility of the customer, we will be having the visibility of the supplier, we will be making the payment to the supplier. After the financing agreement, the payment schedule and the ownership records will be transparent and visible. So again, we will be achieving the core principle of Islamic banking and finance, which states that there be no interest based transaction, there should be no buyback transaction. And again, the third bullet, the last bullet which I mentioned, that the asset destroy damage. Suppose if we have given the customer an asset for use, a vehicle for use. Let's say I am giving a car to the customer under the mode of ijara. So I am the lessor and the customer is the lessee. Or in case I am giving the asset to the customer based on the domestic musharaka shirkatul milk based transaction. So I am again the majority part, owner of the majority part. So in case where we will use the blockchain technology, we will be using for all instances of the transaction. So in case the asset is destroyed, or asset is partially damaged, or asset is completely damaged, again the transparency will be helpful and will give the benefit to the bank to secure the deposit of the customer, and to the customer, or to the customer as well, that the complaint will be timely communicated to the bank and action will be taken by the bank. Timely action taken will be by the bank. Again, the benefits of blockchain use we have discussed. Immutable, tamper-proof records will be available, verifiable and transparent transaction, alignment with Islamic ethic and principle. How we will get these benefits? Because we have seen in the first slide that this technology will be decentralized. One person will not have the rights to make any change, and the person will not be, and the changes will not be visible to other persons. So it will be visible to everyone. So no one can tamper or make some fake evidences or fake invoices or fake evidences as well. So by leveraging blockchain technology, Islamic financial institution can ensure transparency, accountability, and adherence to Islamic principles, ultimately enhancing trust and confidence in the financial system. So this is the base. We have discussed the introduction, the definition of blockchain. Then we have discussed about the core principle of Islamic banking and finance. Then how we can use these products in the asset-based financing. As we have discussed that globally, we have seen that these all digital technologies are mainly used for the deposit side product, the cash-based product, but are not mainly used for the asset financing product. However, to leverage the industry on both the side, the asset side and the liability side, we have to use all these technologies on the asset side as well. So there are some examples not only for the Islamic banking and finance related. We have seen that Abu Dhabi Al Halal Bank has used the blockchain technology to sell Sukuk in secondary market. I'm not aware the Sharia structure, the facility structure of the Sukuk. However, they have used the blockchain technology for selling the Sukuk in the secondary market. So it enhances the transparency, real-time visibility to transaction details, streamlined processes, reduce trading time and cost, regulatory oversight available that at what level, at what value the transaction is concluded and what value at the sukuk were sold. The second example is about the Fintera. Fintera as a company was established in 2017 and currently they have the presence in Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, UAE and India with plans to further expand into Africa and the rest of Middle East. What they do is that they have formed a social welfare blockchain model, work model. So the pictures are a little blur, but if you will see on the left side, any individual, any corporate customer want to fund, want to give donations to the Fintera. In the middle of this transaction, in the middle, you can see this is the work platform. And these are the project managers and these are the projects where they invest. And if any individual want to donate for any education purpose, want to donate for any medical purpose, any other purpose, the funds available, the funds pool in the work, the funds deposited in the work pool will be utilized, will be managed by the program manager. They will project them in different projects, so it will be a recurring and remunerative pool size. And then, as per the discretion of the if the donate if the donor wants to have some discretion as well, they can say that we want to donate these are funds on an education institution or a bank or a hospital or a NGO or a social network, so they can do as well. In what I've seen in their website as well, that they have said if anyone will donate and we if we have donated the funds onwards, we cannot have these returns. So it means the transparency is available that this will be in a chain form. You have given me the funds and I have rightly donated and I have timely donated the funds and onward pass the funds to the social network. So this is also an example wherein the blockchain technology is used, and this is helpful. This will be transparent for the donor. Mostly, sometimes donors see that we are donating the company's different funds, but we are not seeing that funds are properly utilized. So this will give the trust to the donors as well if the blockchain facility will be used in this way. Again, recent Pakistan Banker Association and the State Bank of Pakistan has also used the technology, blockchain technology for KYC platform. We are aware that in case any customer want to open an account, there is a process called KYC, Know Your Customer. So now this will be they are tying up with the some companies, and by using the blockchain technology, every bank will have the access. Every bank will have the visibility of the customer. So again, this is not only for Islamic banking and finance. Any segment, any class who will use these technology, there will be more transparent in and giving the comfort to the customers. Now, specific point, the legal consideration of the Sharia consideration. The legal consideration is that there are different restriction and hurdle difficulties in the transactions. There are different difficulties and restriction from the in the transaction So, from regulatory compliance, many jurisdictions lack clear guidelines for the blockchain in financial system. So, what we'll be discussing later on slide that we have to collaborate with regulator, we have to collaborate with the Sharia scholars, we have to make the noise with the customer that while using the blockchain technology, this will be more transparent. So, if any tokenization will does not have the regulatory compliance, go ahead, good to go from the regulatory, the technology may not fly in a very good manner. Smart contracts, first of all, we should have the clarity, what is the meaning of the smart contract, and then the smart contract is enforceability, that these smart contracts are enforceable as well, enforceable or not. So what we have seen is that the UAE courts recognize smart contract that they are enforceable. However, in different countries and majority of the countries, they are in the discussion phase and the deliberation phase. Data privacy, Islamic ethics on data handling. If the data is available on real time basis to everyone access, everyone will have the access. No one can change. So it means the data will be used and data will be privately used as per the term and condition given in the relevant segment term and condition. Cross jurisdictional challenges, different Sharia interpretation impact blockchain adoption globally. Likewise, we have seen the regulatory compliance issues. Same likewise, we have seen that there are different Sharia scholars who don't have the clarity that blockchain will not affect the transaction, blockchain will not affect the asset base, and will not manipulate any transaction which is as per the Sharia law. From Sharia consideration, we have discussed some models of Pakistan. That in Pakistan, we have seen that there are so much controls available, and these all controls are manual. So, based upon those controls, when we talk about the digital era, when we talk about the blockchain technology, we assume, the scholar assume that when you will shift to the digital technology, these all control will skip, and these where you have to exit all these control. So it all depends upon the presentation, how you present your case and how you present your controls. So in Pakistan, we have seen that when we talk about the blockchain like technology with the Sharia scholars, so they say that if you will shift to the technology in our asset-based transaction, the physical existence of asset is very necessary. How you will ensure? Because we have observed that in a different exchange, we have heard a noise that the sale purchase transaction are executed, but the asset does not exist. So for these purposes, the Sharia scholars have a very conservative approach, have a very conservative decision and opinion. So to ensure that the blockchain should be properly and beneficially utilized, I think we have to be very clear that while executing the transaction through blockchain, the visibility of this, likewise the visibility of the supplier, the visibility of the assets are also available, and that can be visible. So verification of physical existence is a very key issue in the eyes of Sharia scholars. Sharia scholars highlight the risk that reliable transaction on blockchain may only represent movement of digital entries without ensuring the physical existence of goods. So they foresee that if we will move to the blockchain like assets, so what can happen is that there will be no asset at the bank, and only the entry will pass on, only the record keeping is pass on. So we will say that blockchain is very beneficial, blockchain have so much kinds of benefits and so and so, but if we will only does not have any control, we will only passing the digital entry, we will only passing the accounting entry, and there will be no asset exist. So this concern is particularly relevant in jurisdiction like Pakistan, where physical inspection or telephonic verification mechanisms are still essential to validate transaction. And we have seen this observation in different countries as well, where different mercantile exchanges are available, and we have different noises and voices about their transactions. Transparency, all transactions should be transparent, tamper proof, and publicly accessible. Again, initially we have discussed that through blockchain, all the documentation, all the evidences will be real time available. So if the transaction will be properly executed with the existence of goods as per the financing mode, I think this transaction will be more transparent insofar like we execute the transaction manually. Blockchain application must adhere to Islamic principles such as prohibition of interest. We have discussed that how by using the blockchain technology we can avoid the buyback transaction. So it means we are not using the asset as an asset only, we will be executing the transaction in real forms. We will be having no gambling transaction. We will not having any excessive gharar, because all the matters will be transparent with each other. Protection of stakeholders' right. Blockchain technology should safeguard the rights of all stakeholders, including investors, customers, and users. How this will safeguard? Because if I am the bank, you are the customer, and the other party is the supplier, and the transaction without the negligence of the customer will destroy. So we will know that there is no negligence from the customer. So the customer will not be liable. And in case if we will be having the complaint mechanism in all these systems, in case the customer has negligent, so we will be protecting the banks as well. A general consideration and risk is that when we talk about the technology, everyone will move to a new thing. So we have to move initially on an average mode. When we build the control with the technology, we build the control manually, then we should move to the new technology. So it is also a general risk and consideration that excessive dependence on blockchain system can lead to neglect of traditional control and oversight mechanism. Like we have discussed, that the scholars have a view that if we will move right forward to the digital era, and we will not having the physical existing goods controls, so we may have some slippery chances. Lack of human intervention. Automated system can sometimes perpetuate error or fraudulent activities without human oversight. Again, if we will be having additional control, I think this blockchain and other system will be having good controls. Mitigation of these general risks is that implement initially what we can do is that implement hybrid system, combine blockchain with traditional control and oversight mechanism to ensure a balance between efficiency and security. I'm not proposing that in this implement hybrid system that we should continue with the manual and systematic, because this will be a duplication of work. But initially, when we start the work, we can have dual controls with the traditional control and the technology controls. The second point, we should have some regular audits and monitoring system. Human oversight and intervention process should be documented for smooth execution of the transaction. For any technology, there are different specific challenges as well that we have discussed, like by the regulatory challenge, the Sharia awareness challenge. Again, limited compatibility with existing Islamic finance system. Mostly we have seen in global era that in all technologies, firstly, the conventional side move forward. So I think this is the right time for, especially for Pakistan, where this is decision by the Federal Sharia Court judgment that by 2027 the conventional system needs to be converted. So I think these likewise things and technology may be adopted from by Islamic first. Cost integration, we are aware that for any new thing there is a high cost a high cost apply on these. Awareness gap, again, awareness is at the regulator levels, at the Sharia scholar level, at the customer level. However, we have seen that by using the mobile application and so on, if we will have the system available, we arrange likewise session by time and Mabrook in different country, in different session and different languages, it will help the industry as well. Ethical dilemmas, balancing traditional Islamic values with modern technology and technological solutions. We have to spread the word that by using blockchain technologies, we will not be defeating, or we will not be leaving the Sharia requirement, the regulatory requirements. What are the solutions? Collaboration engagements involve regulators, technologies, and Sharia scholar in designing compliant blockchain system. Standardization. We should not complex the transaction, that we will, if we will use the blockchain technology, we will continue the manual as well. So it will duplicate the system and will be cumbersome. So we have to adopt the standardization processes, like UFE efforts to standardize Islamic fintech practices as well. Education, train Islamic finance professional on blockchain technology and smart contracts. I think you can Google the definition of the smart contracts and you will learn a lot about that. Pilot project before live project. In all system, we have the system in place. There some pilot projects are launched. So in blockchain solution as well, there should be some limited setting. And we have seen that in some countries, for the zakat distribution, the social network, the social companies use these blockchain through which if the donor want to donate in Pakistan to a company or to a organization, the amount will be directly credited to the ultimate network. Conclusion is that the blockchain technology can significantly enhance transparency, Islamic finance while ensuring Sharia compliance. This is with collaboration, this is with education with different stakeholders. Legal and technical challenges must be addressed collaboratively to unlock its full potential. Again, what we are seeing the challenge is that except for some like Mabrook and Taif and some other companies, that sometimes the IT expert, these technology expert does not have the knowledge of the Islamic banking modes. Again, the legal expert, the legal counsel does not have the capacity expertise of Islamic banking and finance. So what we need to do is that we have to have some collaborative model in which the tech experts, the legal experts, the Sharia experts should collaborate and have some opinion. We may not have, we should not work in silos. That the legal will have some other opinion, technology have some other opinion, and the Sharia scholar may have another opinion. Call to action: adopt blockchain innovation to uphold trust and ethics in Islamic banking finance. We have discussed some case studies in Pakistan as well, that if we want to do the transaction in this way, this will be more transparent. We have seen that there are different companies which banks are using for their supply chain management, and in those supply chain management, we've seen that the whole transaction is tracked through system. The purchase, the sale, the payment, and the advertising all are system based, system made, and there are nothing which are manually made or tampered. So now we can move to the some questions, I think.
Yes,
Charles,
I'm really thankful, Mufti Saab, for this great, comprehensive, and compact discussion. And I request the attendees, if they have any question, they have the option to ask their questions. Initially, we have a question from Rabia Fatma, and she said that how can blockchain enhance transparency and Sharia compliance in Sukuk issuance while meeting the legal requirements? So she has referred the Sukuk issuance specifically, Mufti Saab.
basically, in my transaction, in my speech, I have informed that what we have seen that in a bank in Dubai, UAE, they have issued some sukuk, but I am not aware of the structure. However, if we will do the transaction through blockchains, what we need to do is that what are the asset, what is the Islamic banking mode, what is the underlying mode of that structure, that will be visible to the customer, that will be visible to the purchaser of that sukuk. In Pakistan, we have seen and we have discussed that there are different government-based sukuk. In the government-based sukuk, all the banks are aware of the legal documentation, legal agreement, or are aware of the assets. So if we will be having the sukuk issuance through blockchain, what we will see is that what are the underlying agreement used for this sukuk transaction, what are the underlying modes on which price the sukuk is sold or purchased. So I think slowly and gradually this will increase. When this will be in, the knowledge will increase, everyone get the benefit that how this blockchain or other system will help the industry.
Okay. Thank you, Mufti Saab, for this, and we shall wait for some questions. Before that, I would really like to acknowledge the discussions, Alhamdulillah, we had throughout your presentation, especially the automated controls, the blockchain-based controls in the Islamic financial transactions. Because prior to this, I was of the perception that. Applying this blockchain technology in the existing Islamic financial system, that is basically a centralized Islamic financial system. But as you said, controlling the tagging, the tracking system of the assets that are in basically partially or wholly owned by the banks, and the places where exactly we need to visit the place physically, and we need to check the manual documents and have these documents in the files. And this is a sometimes a criticism on Islamic finance, that it has a lot of documentation in it. So blockchain can be a solution for that, and it may be able, and we shall be able to make it even more easier than conventional finance, so that these control may be applied. And for that, through that, the auditing system, and as you said, the charity expense may be declined and reduced. So, in the meanwhile, we have some questions from Alaji Adama. He said that what innovative strategies can be employed to leverage blockchain technology in advancing Islamic finance across Africa, ensuring Sharia compliance while addressing challenges like financial inclusion, transparency, and cross-border transaction. So, I think he's from Africa, and he said, what can we do to apply this in Africa?
Vegi sir, first of all, what we have to do is that we have to collaborate with each other. And with the collaboration with the education, we can expand this because in some countries the investors are not interested. So if we will increase the education, we will increase the awareness that in different countries you can invest and the funds are secure, so they will invest. And when we say that the blockchain system is transparent, it means the investor want to invest in some country, in some places that they can have the return. This is not only a sale purchase transaction. If they want to invest in some country, they need the comfort, they need the trust as well. So with the collaborative model, the education model, I think the base transaction are very similar. The sale based transaction, the investment transaction are very similar, very open to everyone. So collaboration and awareness, spread of awareness in education, we have to spread the awareness everywhere. So it will help.
Thank you, Mufti Saab, and I would like to second your point as well. As you said, that collaboration is the solution, and mashallah, here are now more than 77 people attending this speech. So, Mufti Saab, mashallah, is a Islamic finance expert. I, alhamdulillah, have a PhD in Islamic finance and working for the different organizations. So, any of the people from all over the world, if they feel to connect on some point, they can connect with Mufti Saab as well and with me as well, regarding some considerations or regarding some even development as well. So Rafiu Shole has given me, I think, a suggestion maybe, that will you recommend AOFI to produce a Sharia standard for blockchain and cryptocurrency?
Basically, AOFE is working on some digital standard as well. And currently, what we have seen is that in different countries, the acceptability and the legitimacy of crypto asset and cryptocurrency is under discussion. First of all, normally what we have seen is that the Sharia scholar want and ask about the legitimacy of any product. So if the cryptocurrency or crypto asset or token asset tokenization concept are acceptable for the legal counsel, I think this will be very convenient for the Sharia scholar, the Sharia fraternity to provide any opinion. So if you are working on these standards, and earlier I have said I'm not a representative of any institution, but we have heard and we have observed they are working very fastly on different things. In last Sharia board conferences as well, if you have seen, and the recordings are available on AFE YouTube channel as well, you can see some discussion were there about about these new digital technologies as well.
Thank you, Mufti Saab. I think there is one more question. We would like to take this. What would be the solution if the Morabaha transaction is booked in a system a day prior to offer and acceptance, not intentionally, but as it was be booked at the same day? But due to some internal issue, it happened and realized a longer time, let's say around a year.
Basically, Brother Shakir Omari is asking that what would be the solution if the Muraba transaction is booked in the system a day prior to offer acceptance. Brother Shakir, there are four stages in any Muraba transaction: advance, inventory, conversion of advance into financing, and settlements. Advance means can when we have delivered the funds to the customer and the asset will be delivered afterwards. So if you are saying that we have converted the transaction, we have booked the transaction a day before, so how this is possible? Because if you are not having the ownership of the asset, how you can book? So that is the risk with the Sharia scholars seen that if you will use the blockchain, you will be using the technology, but you will not be aware, you are not aware of the Islamic banking rules and principle. So you will only pass and you will only record the entry because you will see that yes, I will receive the goods. And supposedly, God forbid, the assets are destroyed. So what will happen? So that's the challenge that what I'm saying is that the technology expert should also have sufficient knowledge of the Islamic banking modes because this is not only the booking record keeping of entries. Once you will own the asset, when you will have the asset in your ownership, then you will book the asset, you will execute the offer acceptance. Suppose in early in the morning, I will request you to that I want to purchase an asset from you, and I will be making payment in your account. I will make the payment, and based upon our trust, I book the offer acceptance in the system. So the transaction will be out. The transaction will be of Sharia. They will be having Sharia issues. That's why they are forced in any transaction advanced inventory, conversion of advance into financing, and then the settlement. First, you will own the asset, then you will convert that advance to financing and then the customer will pay and the financing will be settled. So in case the before the receipt of good, before the ownership of the asset, you cannot have the on a sale and purchase transaction. You have to own the asset first.
Okay, I think this explicitly mentions the answers. I think a question from Khaja Hassan Elahi, I think from UAE. He said, "How do customers perceive blockchain-based Islamic financial products?" So, what is the perception of customers about these things?
Basically, brother Khwaja, thank you very much for joining the session. It all depends upon how where you want to talk about. I think in UAE, knowledge is very much higher than Pakistan. So if you talk about the blockchain-based Islamic financial product, it all depends on for which product you are asking about. Like in Pakistan, we have seen that there are different technology companies that they are doing and performing the supply chain management system transaction. So in supply chain management transaction, the transaction is executed through system. So if you will be using the blockchain based Islamic financial products, I think it will take time, but you have to educate the customers. For not for all product, you can say that each and every product can be executed, but slowly and gradually, I think the education is the must.
Yes, inshallah. So Alisa Gabriel said that what are the main Sharia concerns regarding smart contracts? I think you already discussed the smart contracts, and we may have a detailed discussion regarding smart contracts. This is a topic of a detailed webinar, inshallah. And I think one follow-up question from Alaji that he said that in Gambia we have a Islamic finance microfinance institution and banks offering Islamic finance, but many people complain about the lack of proper Sharia compliant practices. How can this issue be effectively tackled?
I think we have discussed in our presentation that standardization is the key. So if you will opt, if you don't have the regulatory standard in your country, what we can do is that what the country can do is that they can slowly and gradually adopt the AOF Sharia standards. If the regulator is not accepting, not adopting the Sharia standard, what the institution can do is that the institution can adopt as a good practice. So from this standard practice, the customer complaint will be reduced.
Yes, thank you. I think we shall take one more question, and then there is a question regarding stable coins and asset-backed tokens, gold-backed tokens. So, are these more Sharia compliant than traditional currencies like Bitcoin, etc.?
Basically, sister Alisa or brother Alisa, these all digital technologies are under consideration, and the legal and the Sharia scholar are waiting for the legal counsel the countries to legitimate these technologies. Once these are legally accepted, then the Sharia scholars and the Sharia boards will provide their opinion. I think this will be a very initial level that any Sharia scholar may give their opinion.
Yes. I think if there is no other question, I would like to thank especially Mufti Khawaja Noor Saab for this wonderful and insightful session. And on behalf of Al Mabrook, on behalf of Taif, Alhamdulillah, and I thank all the attendees as well, because these are the topics of future. And if we need to discuss these topics, we need to increase our awareness, our own awareness, and the people associated with us in terms of, for example, if they are customers, the stakeholders, even the regulatory people, they need to increase their awareness on these topics, because technology is like a wave. It will come in any case, so we need to understand it, how it what actually it is, and how it is going to perform, and what repercussions it may have on our systems. So and as you mentioned today in your speech, that the system, the bank Islamic financial system we have been working on, can be integrated with the blockchain to decrease the frictions, the manual procedures we are having. And it will not only automate the system, it will smooth our own system and the economy. Even the transaction time will be lower and reduced. So I'm really thankful, and I think
There is
if
a question from a sister or brother Izri Yusuf, if we can answer, because she again.
yes, yes, she mentioned, I think. So the question is, how can the concept of khiyar in Sharia be effectively applied in the context of smart contracts or blockchain, given the challenges posed by the immutability of data once it is confirmed and recorded on the blockchain?
Sister Esri or Brother Esri, very great question, very good question, because again, the question will depend upon the knowledge of what you have about the products. What we do in Morabaha transaction is that if we will use the blockchain for Morabaha transaction, so we appoint, in Pakistan, we appoint the agent, the customer is the agent to purchase the goods as per discretion. So at that time, we are the principal and the customer is the agent. And we'll say the customer that you will purchase on as is basis. So if there will be any default on the customer end, due to the customer end, the customer will be responsible. However, what we have seen is that in Afghanistan they have adopted the AOC Sharia standard. So in majority of the cases, the bank directly purchase from the supplier. They don't appoint the customer as an agent. So in those cases, the customer informed the bank that, sir, we want to purchase this asset from that supplier. The bank asks, okay, we will purchase the asset directly from the customer, from the supplier. But what type of asset, and in case of any default, who will be held responsible? So while purchasing the asset, before purchasing, everything is finalized that there is this asset will be acceptable to you. Let's say if I'm going to a shop and I say, what you want to purchase this? He said this. Yes, I will pay. So I will pay upon on his behalf. He will purchase that asset. So the risk will be confirmed. So again, this question will again link with the first question in case where someone has highlighted that if we will record the offer acceptance one day before, so it cannot be possible. Once everything is confirmed between the parties, then the entry will be passed in the system. And this is why I have selected those products, Muraba and Musawama, because the Sharia scholars think that we will only pass the entries and there will be no asset between the transaction, no asset between, because the transaction will be within seconds. And we have seen and heard about these transactions in commodity based exchanges. I think I have covered the answer to sister or brother
Uh,
Izri.
yes, thank you, Mufti Saab. And I think regarding the smart contracts, more detailed discussion we inshallah we may arrange a separate webinar on this inshallah on smart contract, to discuss actually how it works, and what and how it may be applied in the existing Islamic financial system. So I think if there is no new question from our attendees, We shall wrap up the session, inshallah. And I'm really thankful for Mufti Saab for your time and the attendees. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in this time. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our efforts regarding this valuable discussion, inshallah. Anything from your side, Mufti Saab?
Hey, thank you very much. We may be connected at the link as well with the same ID, Mufti Khawaja Noor and Mufti Dr. Omer Rafique Sahab as well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, all the attendees. Thank you, Sidra, for your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.